Welcome back, everybody, to the NGES Ramazan Esports Fest. Now, yesterday, I was able to make it to the studio for the CSGO event, right? But unfortunately, today, after a very straining iftar, I'd like to say, unfortunately, I couldn't make it past my bed. So here we are, not from the studio, we're here at home, and Thalla's going to be joining me from his room as well. How are you, man?
I'm really good. I'm particularly looking forward to this event because it is the Valorant
Mm-hmm.
game.
That's your
Yesterday we
forte.
saw the CS:GO final, and CS:GO, it's on a bit of a resurgence, I would say. But Valorant, that's been that's been our bread and butter in the esports scene as far as the PC games go for the past, I would say, 3 years now.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it definitely overtook CS:GO in popularity. That's for sure.
Yeah, but speaking about today's games, we actually have some old players returning to the scene, which we're going to see the rosters up in a bit. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how far these players have come. They've been playing together with each other for quite a while. We have always been mentioning how important consistency and teamwork, how far they can actually take you. And like yesterday, you were mentioning that the CS:GO winners, they're actually going to be going forward to their first ever international event. And these guys, Trick, Darky, these guys have been playing. I would say they've been playing regional level events. Some of the events in India, they do take part in those Sky Esports, for example. But internationally, they haven't had much luck in that. But here's hoping that will change as well.
Absolutely. Now, of course, before we actually head into the meat and potatoes of this game, what I do want to bring to your attention is the prize pool, right? Obviously, it is always about the money. Prize pool, 30,000 rupees up for grabs for the men or for the people that are able to win this one out. So, pretty hefty prize pool, especially considering
Yeah.
uh, esports had a bit of a decline within Pakistan, right? I wouldn't quite say decline in terms of popularity, but at least in terms of mainstream tournaments. So this is sort of one of the tournaments to try and help revive the whole scene, right? It's just this initiative by NGES, and obviously no better time to do it than Ramzan, where all of these gamers after iftar they're just loading up their PCs and to make it through the wee hours of the night, to make it to make it till basically at 4 a.m. They've booted up their games. They're grinding it out for hours and hours on end. But of course, it is to talk quickly about the bracket. We get a chance to look at what kind of run we've seen so far from the other teams. So in the quarterfinals, Envious was able to they were able to edge it out against Avazar. They were also able to beat VRN in the next matchup right after that. Beyond that, Dentinels were able to beat Fireflies and lead Esports in the semifinals. And here we are in the grand finals with Envious versus Dentinel. So, Talha, this is where I can finally let you go on a little bit more about the players and how this matchup is going to unfold.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Team VRN, they're also veterans of the esports scene. We saw them play in the Galaxy Racer event last year. We saw them play before that, and I believe that ended up forming either at Infinity Cup or right shortly after Infinity Cup. And through the gate, they ended up defeating what was Salt Esports at the time. Much of the players that you're going to be seeing in the team NV. So I would definitely say that this is a bit of a rivalry game between the two, because back in Infinity Cup, VRN actually eliminated Salt Esports and
Mm-hmm.
Salt Esports at the time. So definitely, I think Envious would be looking at some sort of revenge as far as that goes. And speaking about the grand final itself, I certainly do think that Dentinels have their work cut out for them. They're playing against veterans of the game. They're going to be really need to be careful as far as that goes. And I obviously don't like to call favorites, and I always like to root for the underdogs. But here's hoping that Dentinels will be able to put up a fight.
Yeah, for sure. Now we do want to quickly talk about the veto though, because that is, of course, where a lot of the things are going to boil down. And honestly, man, I'm just personally glad we're not seeing any pro, we're not seeing Lotus, because you know everybody knows. Everybody that follows me knows this. I'm terrible at Valorant. Okay, and actually getting up to speed with a new map like Lotus, that would have killed me. So I'm just really happy we're seeing a more traditional map selection. You know, we've got Ascent, we've got Icebox, and we've got Split as the decider. So this is about as old as it gets, with the exception of Icebox, right? Like these are pretty much just
Yeah,
the OG maps, Talha.
yeah, definitely. And I personally think that it's it's a trend seen in the FPS scene all around. Generally, FPS players, they don't like. I've noticed that, in just about every game, Dust 2 has been, I think, the staple CS:GO map since, the 1.5 time. And these guys, Ascent, Icebox, it's been the staple for the Valorant scene as well.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's hard to sort of compare FPS games though, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I think CS players in general are just shy away from new maps a little bit more often, but that's honestly because they've also been a little more spoiled, right?
Yeah.
They've sort of been in the position where they only get a new map maybe like a year and a half to every 2 years, something of that sort. But Valorant hasn't really been in that position. Obviously, a relatively newer game, so when they're when it's sort of in the initial stages of having I'd say launching the esports scene in a way, although the esports scene has been around for a while now for Valorant, they're still coming up with new maps all the time, and it's never really going to be stagnant. And with the agents coming out as well, people are just so accustomed to change in Valorant that you often see a lot of you see a lot of breadth when it comes to the styles of play, right? You see many different agent compositions. You see many different a lot of variety on the surface, but before a lot of depth has actually developed, you often see changes being brought in by the developers. So that's something. That's one of the reasons why teams are quite okay with changes on a game like Valorant. But enough about theory, right? Enough about FPS theory. We gotta head straight into the game very, very soon. Agents have been locked in now, and I'm very interested in seeing what this composition is going to look like on both sides.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the KO pick. Definitely KO is becoming, more and more into the meta, is finding his place in the meta, and certainly, and an uptick from what was seen last year. Where only a handful of teams, I believe, only Salt Esports at the time, of course, were picking up that KO, and now
Yeah,
we're seeing,
I think last year we might have seen Clarity picking them up as
yeah,
picking him up as well, but it was really only some of the most cavalier teams that were
yeah,
okay with sort of throwing KO in the mix. And honestly, it's not like they were very successful with it. I remember it was HSB from VRN back in the day
yeah.
who was toying around with KO, but then when they got to the big boy matches, when they were playing a little bit more seriously, whenever when things were at stake, he would just go back to the default picks. He would just be a little bit more careful, probably head to the breach pick instead of experimenting with an agent like KO. But we are heading straight into the game now, so we should be underway with the pistol round very shortly.
Yeah, definitely. And I think
Actually,
uh, as far as the staple picks goes, the default setups, I think the defending side is going to be opting for that. I would like to point out that both sides chose some of the default picks, in form of the Killjoy, and an absolute staple upon this map, because the turret offers you so much utility, whether you're on the B side, whether you're on the A side. So you absolutely need a Killjoy. And this is the thing about Valorant. Some of these agents, they're really required, if you're going to be playing the map. For example, in the next map, I am pretty certain that we're going to be seeing a Viper picked up by both the sides, and even the Sage from one of the sides for that ice wall. And speaking of the KO up on this map, since you are so close to the site early on into the game, and that suppression blade just offers so much information, so much utility, and the KO's ultimate offers so much potential as well to just head on into the site, that some of these agents really do make quite a bit of sense. But we are going to be heading into the game. 10 seconds till the round starts, and it looks like the attacking side, Team NGES, they are primed towards that B site.
Yeah, not necessarily making a commitment just yet, though. They've left the spike a little bit farther back, just to allow themselves some breathing room, and early stun being deployed for ABD to try and face. And surprisingly enough, he ends up winning out the duel, despite the fact that he should have been surprised by the killjoy there. 2 kills being collected early on, and Team Dentinals are making very quick work of the opposition. Now, comes down to the 2-on-4. They have been able to secure a kill, but this is not going to be an easy 2-on-4 by any stretch of the imagination. The Jet taking the spike all the way to A, and regardless of where they go, it's going to be
Yeah,
a difficult
it all
endeavor.
depends if this Omen can
Yeah,
get that
this
backstab.
Omen. Ooh, okay. We're already
Okay,
seeing
he
some
finds
backstab action.
He tries to shoot at the turret, but that's not where you want to be. But now, Gamer, he's boxed in over here with no support from his team. He's taken down Omen on a triple kill now, and now the defenders, they're coming onto this side as well. The spike will be planted. The smoke is blocking them out. And will Omen find anything? Oh, actually, it's an ace. He gets both. And with that, they bring themselves back into the round. I mean, this guy, finding the backstab over there and then finding the ace, just securing the round all by himself. Very well played by this guy. And already an ace in the first round. That's really not something that we see very often in this game.
So I'm quickly going to have to sort out a bit of a technical issue, so I'm going to have to put you on the spot here for a second.
I mean, it's completely all right. I think the viewers need to recover a bit as well from that last round ace. But as we go again, NVS, they're off to a very aggressive start into the B side, and they're actually mowing down the Dentinals. There's absolutely no response from them as 4 players fall. And only the Killjoy remaining. Oh, as I was saying that, he dies due to Darky. So 2 rounds very comfortably won by Team Envious with not much resistance. I mean, apart from the first round, that was very well played. Now, I think it's going to be the first gun round for both the teams. It should be a round that Dentinals will be able to secure because they're faced up against 3 Spectres. So there's really no reason they should be losing this. That Omen now on 6-0-1. And it looks like this time around they're going towards both sites, and we're really going to have to see how this works out. I mean, the play is correct there. They've kept the spike back just in case anything goes wrong. They can rotate as well. And Nomi, he gets the first kill onto Bloody. Bravo tries to make a casual sneak, but that really does not work out for him as he found himself in a very difficult spot with 2 players with their iron sights on him. And now Dentinals, it's 4-4, but they really need to slow down their pace a bit. You know, they are on a defending side. They should really try to maximize the Killjoy's utility, allow Envious to enter the site. I'm not sure why they're taking such aggressive duels so early on. But
yeah, Dentinals can sort of just play this to their own pace right now, especially with the crossfire setup they have between Nomi and Pandora. But now they're going to have to try and fight back against the onslaught. Split push coming in from middle. Stranger's able to fight back, but he needs to stay alive for a little bit longer, potentially. Nomi playing that very narrow angle. He is being spotted, though, and he's going to get overwhelmed by the Omen pushing in as well. Now, B site fully up for grabs. Comes down to the 2-on-3. ABD already priming himself for the clutch. And look at that. They're not willing to peek whatsoever. They're playing it super carefully. No mistakes being made by Envious after that plant. And that's how it all ends up crumbling.
Yeah, Denton is really struggling over here. I really do think that they need to slow down the pace a bit. Every round they try to go for these aggressive plays, try to catch Envious off guard, but it really doesn't work because Envious, they seem to be playing with they have each other's backs, and they're not going to fall for such obvious plays. But again, they're going to go towards the B side because it's always worked out for them.
I mean, it's crazy that Envy started off their winning ways with an ace, right? And
Yeah.
they've not let up the pressure whatsoever. And that's got to be very hurtful if you're in the shoes of
Oh.
Dentinels. Okay. Not allowed to do that. That is an illegal move for sure by Nomi. 2 burst shots, 2 kills. And I think it's about to get a whole lot worse with the Sheriff coming in for play as well. ABD, he's not being spotted,
no,
but
he
he misses
whiffed
a very crucial shot. And Stranger's able to turn around and slap him for his mistakes. And that could be exactly what Envious needed. 4-0, and
I mean,
this onslaught
if he
just
got the
doesn't
kill,
stop.
yeah, if he got that kill over there, if he didn't miss that shot, then perhaps it would have been a different story. But
Honestly,
really
Nomi
well
just
played by Nomi over here.
yeah, Nomi just over-delivered there, right? At no point in the round were they actually contenders for it, but after those 2 kills, ABD suddenly gets an opportunity to flank without actually being checked. It just comes down to the whiff, unfortunately. Happens to the best of us. Ooh, this is going to be a very decisive push into A. They're going to be banking all of their resources into it. Lots of utility being thrown out already. Smokes being deployed. Jet already dashing in early on, so they've been able to clear the back of the site as well. Turret taken care of. And before the defenders have any say in the matter, Envious will already get all of their utility and the spike down. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that Jet was really not expecting it, but now here comes the retake. 4 players of Dentinels, 3 players from Heaven moving simultaneously, and it turns out to be a bloodbath, but Dentinels, they're still on top. 2v1. Nomi gets that kill with the knife, and now they defuse. Really well played by Dentinels, I have to say. They took their sweet time with it. They allowed Envious to come onto the site. Sure, the spike was planted, but they seemed to be ready for it. As soon as the smoke was cleared out, it took out Jet. 3 players gunning him down, and then 1 player pushing from Garden while those 3 took control from Heaven. That's really the sort of game that you do want to be seeing. That's the sort of game that wins you these rounds. Nomi with an operator now. It's going to be interesting to see where he positions himself, and it looks like he's going to be in the garden, but the Jet just takes him out with a quick headshot, and that's the operator down.
And that's gotta hurt, right? I mean, Dentinels, they get a chance to breathe for a second, and then the instant response to that is Envy is just taking the operator out of their hands, so can't really make use of that Jet at all before he's taken down. Now the spike's going to be rotating all the way over to A, and since they're just playing a pretty basic 2-in-2 setup with a rotation not being available very soon, this is going to be a difficult hold. Luckily the utility is being set up by Killjoy. Shots being missed. That is a big whiff to be having. And again, the opening kills just start to come out. ABD is trying to respawn, and he somehow gets away with 3, and it's still a very doable round. He doesn't have a whole lot of HP, and unfortunately, the Jet on Envious is going to make sure that he can't get away with any of those shenanigans. I mean, great flicks, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure we're going to get a chance to see that in the replay as well, but unfortunately, it doesn't really come to fruition in terms of a clutch.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think this entire the 6 rounds that we've seen have just come down 1 player stepping it up, 1 player getting the kill or the ace that Omen got, but really, there's a way out of this, right? Dentinels, if they, push the game. I mean, not literally, it's very much doable.
No, mate. Playing that close angle, and he should be able to spot their feet, so that one-way smoke ends up working out beautifully. 1-for-1 trade is definitely not something he's too unhappy about, especially with the investment they had going into the round. This turret's being a bit of a menace, but Envious are able to comfortably make their way onto the A site. Shouldn't be too long before we see the spike being planted as well. Really just a matter of gunning these pistols down. It's not like Dentinels are going to let that happen without much of a fight.
They got an advantage, but they really have to this range. It's going to be an instant kill with a headshot. And now with the Killjoy activated as well, really have to be careful. And NGES remaining, they have to back out, otherwise they're going to be stuck.
Oh. Around again, Stranger. That flashbang ends up allowing him just the amount of space he needs to be able to go for it. And he's playing this to perfection. He knows all he has to do is just bait them out. Stranger now peeking out, and there's simply not enough space for Gamer to go for that defuse. 6-1. Very comfortable lead here for NGES, and to think it all started with an ace, the pressure has never really stopped beyond that point.
Yeah, and I mean, even the one round the Dentinals managed to win, it wasn't really as decisive as you would hope for, and it really doesn't seem that they have a response to the play that NGES is making. I mean, they're simply losing out on those, outside of by some of their players like Nomi and ABD. It's just not a whole lot of teamwork that I'm seeing.
Pandora, great dart allows him to peek through the smoke, but that door being shut on his face certainly makes the duels harder, and because he tries to force his way out, Darky's going to be on the other end, ready to take care of business. Now, a couple shots being whiffed does mean that Dentinals have a chance in this round once again. The ultimate being set up, allowing a whole lot of space once more for NGES. Darky continuing to pile on the pressure. A 3K for the man already. And he's definitely a contender for an ace right now. Ultimate, of course, allowing them a fair bit of space. The repositionings have also been made. They're not exactly sure where these players are positioned, so it's not going to be an easy retake for Dentinals by any stretch of the imagination. Flash is good, and they're going to be able to take advantage of it. ABD, 2 quick kills, and that's sort of the breathing room they needed. Finally, the chance to bring it to 2. I mean, this ends up being a great round for Dentinals, but again, it comes to Darky's still able to do a lot of damage on the way out, so.
Yeah, and 6-2. I mean, it's not terrible, right? Particularly if you are able to secure some of these rounds, but it's it's the way that some of these rounds are won is really the problem they're facing, because NGES, whenever they've won a round, it's been in such a decisive way where it seems like Dentinals have not had a single chance to take that round, but Dentinals have to fight tooth and nail to secure some of the rounds that they've won, which is really telling. Now, of course, they should be doing a lot better on the attacking side, but unless they, even at the scoreline a little bit, they're going to find themselves in a lot of trouble. They should be looking to secure, this round, or at least a few of these rounds. They do have the Omen ultimate already, and the Breach ultimate as well. Bravo does have it, and it's particularly useful up on this map where the site is so small. So that stun, it can do a lot for you, particularly as NGES love to aggressively push S5, so it can be disastrous for them, but it's all about how you time it.
The problem is that Dentinals, ironically enough, they're not making enough of a dent on the defender's side, right? They're definitely not in the position right now where they're completely out of it, because obviously they can still end up with the half advantage by the end of this. Well, not the half advantage, but at least a tie-up.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Getting ready for a split push now over towards A. They've still left a Killjoy lingering around B just to make sure that they can't get their eyes off of this bomb site. And with the rotation of the SOA also happening over towards B, it does allow them a fair bit of space heading on to A. Now the problem is they have to go through this 3-man setup here. Breach playing up close and personal. There's a flashbang at the ready by Omen as well. But it doesn't end up working out for them. Player Bravo falls to the jet. There's another player walking straight into the bomb site, and that's going to be Stranger with his rifle. ABD, he's done marvelous work over here towards the A bomb site. And he's going to continue to dish out more damage. Spike now being planted. Dentinals in a disadvantageous retake.
Yeah, I would say very disadvantageous, but you know, they seem to make it work as Pandora does take one out. He's going to find the jet as well, and now those are 2 kills down. Darky finds a response for it, but he also gets taken down. But Stranger is just too quick for them, and a triple kill for him.
Beautiful work on that.
Yeah.
The way he just comes out of the smoke there, that timing is perfect. Like, there is no other window of opportunity he could have possibly had, and we get a chance to see that in the replay. You know, Pandora does a whole lot of work here as he falls, and he's able to catch a player on the flash as well, and for a brief moment there, they have a chance, but then Stranger realizes he needs to capitalize on the window of opportunity where they're focused on his teammate, and he's able to do just that. 7-2, and watch what's happening. Back down to the pistols, and it's going to be a little suffocating if you're in the shoes of Dentinals.
Definitely, and Nomi needs to be careful. Oh, just doesn't even peek out, and he moves back. But NGES, I mean, I really thought that Dentinals would be taking that last round. And now Pandora, his position is revealed, not going to find anything with that Sheriff, gets taken down by Darky, and this is an easy beat side to take, but the spike's not even there, and as Dentinals are rotating everyone they have onto the side, NGES is going to be planting the spike on the A side, and the rest of their players are going to be stopping any rotation that Dentinals can make. So overall, I think Dentinals just got completely outplayed in this round. But you know, they might not even need to plant the spike as NGES, they're just mowing them down. I think ABD, okay, no. I've seen multiple opportunities where you could go for the knife. I mean, of course, it's not something that you see in a grand final, but they have that opportunity. And you know, here's the problem. The problem is when you buy your entire team Sheriffs, you're not exactly saving, right? Because the Sheriffs are expensive on their own. And the ideal scenario is that you get at least a few pickoffs, you know, get 2 kills or 3 kills. 3 kills would be ideal. Any more would be a bonus. Any less would be okay. But if you're not getting a single kill and you have 5 players, that's really telling. And, you know, at that point, it's worth to save all your credits and not go for a single Sheriff.
Hang on, I just need to deal with a technical issue on my end, so Talha, again, your turn with the viewers.
Dentinals have picked up themselves an Omen. I would say they're taking a page out of King's playbook, because he really loved that Odin spam, especially particularly on Ascent. Not sure if they can replicate it here though, as NGES, they're really moving on to the B side. Bravo does take the jet down, but issue at hand is that the site is in NGES's control. Dentinals are all smoked out, and Bloody is in position to intercept anyone who's coming in through the doors. Pandora does know something is up. Spike goes down, and now the retake will begin. But as soon as that happens, the top fragger of Dentinals has been taken down. The dart does give him a lot of info, and now Bloody's in a bit of trouble. Nomi does take him down, but gets the return kill. Stranger does get that return kill, and now Stranger is stunned, but Omen, he comes in with the flank, taking both the players out. Very well played by him, and Gamer, he doesn't stand a chance as he's trapped between 3 players. I mean, really,
honestly,
Dentinals,
the Omen on NGES just makes all the difference, right? That Breach ultimate should have had everything pretty much packed up on the site. Unfortunately for them, there's a missing piece. That's the Omen. Comes in for the backstab, and is just an easy cleanup for the man.
And he didn't even have to use his ultimate.
Yeah, it actually ends up being a bit of a double-edged sword to use that ultimate, because then it sort of makes them tunnel vision on the fact that they need to quickly try and capitalize on the kills off the back of the stun, and it leaves them a little more vulnerable to the player that's going for the backstab. Now, a final chance to try and make a dent in this half before NGES can sort of run away with it. And it's going to be doubly hard when they end up having to play the attacking side.
Definitely. And with the scoreline already 9-2, it really does not seem like Dentinel's there. They're just not able to make it work. Already one player down. And it looks like an easy side to take, as none of the Killjoy's utility is available on that B site. The Breach, the only one there. He's going to be spotted out by that drone. They're going to know that he's there. Only one player on the door who's smoked out as well. The utility being used, the Hunter's Fury, does give them some time, but Dentinel's there fighting back. They found out 2 kills, 3 kills for them, but Darky, he has a response as well. He takes 2 players out. The spike, now planted in a 2v2, is about to take place.
Oh, a chance of the repositioning as well. The Omen taking out Gamer pretty much leaves ABD out to dry, and unfortunately, he's had a great performance so far. The question is whether or not he can make that happen in a 1v2. Darky, great dart. He's stuck in that duel. ABD, unfortunately, there's nothing he can do about it.
10-2 now, and if Dentinels don't get these 2 rounds, which, I mean, sorry, Dentinel need to secure this pistol round. I mean, you know, if you lose the pistol round, then you're going to be losing the next round, obviously, right? Or you should be losing the next round. And that would put NVS on the game point, and really that's not a position where Dentinels can actually recover from. So whether or not they're able to win this pistol round is really what's going to decide this first map. Oh, they do have some advantage though. Killjoy utility not available on that B site, and it looks like Dentinels, they're going to be making a very aggressive play onto the B site, or rather they stopped in their tracks. That's going to give NVS a lot of time to rotate, as the Omen is already making his way there. And now it looks like they're going to rotate away from that side, having drawn the attention of Team NVS on towards the B site. But it looks like their rotation is going to be very well timed. The Omen, though, he's spotting out mid. He's going to see the spike planter, and now they're rushing towards A. And now Dentinel, they're back towards moving towards B. I mean, now's the time to commit. There's only the Sova there. Stop them.
Yeah, the problem is that Darky's actually preemptively watching for that, right? So if he catches a pixel, yeah, I'm pretty sure he saw them crossing over, which is why the rotations have now been called in. That 3-second window of opportunity they had, that's sort of expired, and with the flashbang coming in from the Omen as well, Darky is going to have a field day potentially, but Player Bravo's ready with his Ghost as well. He does respond in kind to some of the shots that are coming his way, but unfortunately, Dentinels are still left in between a rock and a hard place. Just the Omen remaining now. And I'm not sure if ABD is timed out. Is he timed out?
I mean, he's not moving his cursor, and he's most definitely not saving. I mean, I hope he's not saving.
Definitely doesn't sound like a save.
I do think he's timed out. I mean, we'll find out soon enough, though. But again, the problem is that they've lost the pistol round, and he's still not moving. Yeah, I think it's definitely a timeout.
Yeah, with this pistol round being lost, obviously they're just not going to have a whole lot of insurance to fall back onto. A 12th is almost guaranteed, unless they decide to go for a force buy. And then again, you know, if you go for an entire force buy to try and keep them off the match point, or rather the map point, then you expose yourself to the issue of, well, not really having a buy at all in the second half. And that can be brutal, right? You know, you only have a pistol round and force buys to play on potentially a site you could have been waiting for if they had better attack strategies, or if it's something they were more comfortable with.
Yeah, definitely. I think Dentinels should, you know, just prepare themselves for the next game, work on their information game as Icebox. That's, you know, all about the information, all about how you use your utility, and all about those rotations. So really envious. They seem to be much better at all three. But I really do hope that Dentinels, you know, they can put up a fight. This map, it really does not seem like they're going to be able to come back from it.
The problem is, right? Envious are excellent in terms of aim. I think they just have quite a bit more firepower compared to Dentinals. Next map, it's going to be Icebox, and that's something where firepower is even more apparent. It's just like the issues of not having firepower just get exacerbated
Yeah.
when you're playing a map like Icebox, and I think that issue is going to continue to haunt Dentinals for the rest of the match.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Icebox, it almost always starts off with who gets the long range frag, right? Because and the entrance into B side, it's long range. The entrance into A side, it's very long range, and you usually enter a site through the back of an opening frag. And if Envious, Envious, they're so much better at it than Dentinals. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do it. We have seen some firepower come out from Dentinals themselves, but it's not really been enough. As ABD, he's still disconnected. Hopefully, he can find his way back into the server. Oh, and it appears he is back. And now Dentinals going for a garden push. A very aggressive push, I might add. Going to come on to the Omen, who's finding
Oh
two,
my
finds
goodness,
three,
it's
and
just-
this is an absolute disaster for them. As Nomi
That's
plays, he
just
does take
painful.
him out, but yeah, that round was quicker. Was over quicker than, I mean, wow. I just, I really was.
Yeah,
I'm
you just
really
can't
at a
come up
loss
with an
for words.
analogy at
Yeah,
that point.
I really can't. I mean, the pause was much longer than that round. What do you want me to say?
Unfortunately, this could be the end of the road for Dentinals in this map. And there's really not been much of a fight in response, right? Envious, they've made it look so damn easy. It's really not looked like a fair matchup whatsoever. And it's interesting to see this in a grand final, for sure. Flash comes out over towards middle, and Trick just wants to try and run it down.
Oh,
Player Bravo being taken away as well. Nice little positioning off the top, and that dash obviously allows him to save himself as well. It's just a matter of Trick running around willy-nilly, making it look so damn easy. Slow Orb makes things easier as well. Ultimate triggered, and he's not
Yeah.
happy about Stranger stealing that ace, but
Yeah,
it's
he
a
wouldn't have gotten that.
13-2 for crying out loud. That is about as one-sided as you could possibly expect. The fact that they could have gotten a few more rounds is a little painful to think of, because keep in mind, they lost to a 2 versus 5 ace on the pistol round. They're not able to convert. They're not able to get sort of that extra round buffer, and that ends up meaning, unfortunately, that they're not able to have sort of any comeback room, since they end up just playing the pistols and the force buys in the second half. So any chance they had in the second half, that's just snatched away from them. Incredible performance by Beast. Incredible performance by Trick as well. They were basically just farming kills left and right. It really didn't look like a... It really didn't look like a competitive game whatsoever. Very, very one-sided affair by Envious.
yeah, definitely. And, we can see that on the scoreboard with only two players having those double-digit kills. The rest of the team, really not much of a fight they put out. And I think it's really telling. I really don't see the I really don't see how they can make up such a big difference. They only have one more map to play with. I really don't think that is going to go to a decider. But on Icebox, it does come down to your utility usage. Now, unfortunately, even then, we didn't really get to see a lot of that. Obviously, they had such few kills that they really couldn't reach their ultimates, but Icebox, you use the Viper ultimate, you use the Sage Revive, the Sage Ice Wall, so you have a lot more to play with. So we're really going to have to see how they manage to do that.
Yeah, now the good thing is, right, Dentinels, they've picked up Icebox, so hopefully they know what they're doing, right? Envious, on their own map pick, they were just running around, making it look so damn easy. Hopefully that's not going to be the case on Icebox, but we're going to have to wait a little bit before that action comes up. The players, of course, need a 5-minute break before we head into the next one, so we'll be right back after a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. That was a bit of a disappointing game by Dentonals, and I think that is a bit of an understatement. Now, I still hope they're going to have a much better performance here on the second map because, let's be honest, they do have a chance, right? They've picked up
Yeah,
Icebox, they should have their utility dialed in, and we certainly should see a better performance, in theory, on Icebox.
definitely. I mean, there's a lot more to play with up on Icebox. It's more about how you play that map, more about how you utilize your utility, more about how you go for that retake. Now, those are generally the win conditions. Like if you get those things right, you do mitigate some of the firepower difference that we were talking about with both the teams. And like we were talking about, a Viper pick. Both teams do pick up that Viper
Yeah,
exploit
that's
going for that
that's
Reyna.
pretty much non-negotiable at this point, right? I remember in one of the last tournaments we casted, which one was it? I can't seem to remember for the life of me. But that one was with NGES as well. It was just for a different organizer. I remember that Bravo's team, not Player Bravo, another Bravo, his team ended up playing with no Viper because they were just like, well, YOLO, and that did not end well actually. That was not great.
Yeah, I think the attackers, I think that they're going for that default, those default picks that we were talking about, the much needed utility that you absolutely do need to have on this map. Meanwhile, the defenders, they're choosing to actually play it a bit more a bit different. Had them picking up that Reyna, picking up that Jet, the double duelist role. So definitely their defense is certainly going to be a bit lacking in the first half, and that's really what Dentinus need to capitalize on. They have stronger agents. It is an attack sided map. It's often a map where you're pushed out and you often go for that retake. So it's going to come down to how they play this, how their teamwork is, how they choose to rotate. The Viper wall is absolutely essential for throwing the enemy off, for allowing you to reposition yourselves, or for faking the opponent. So Dentinals, those are the win criteria. They really do need to win out the majority of the rounds in the first half. If they're not able to do that, then well, they're really going to be sent home packing.
Yeah, now the good thing for Dentinals is the fact that they've played a very conservative setup in the sense that they're using agents that they know are entirely trying not to rely on firepower, right? With the exception of their Jet, they've got Viper, very utility-heavy agent again, Sova, almost a non-negotiable on a map like Icebox. They've got Killjoy as well. Killjoy is something that a lot of teams have been able to get away without, especially with the addition of so many new agents. A lot of people have even been opting for let's say Fade just for area control, and this means that Dentinals sort of understand where that deficit is coming from. They understand that there's very clearly firepower that is lacking on their roster,
Yeah.
so they're like, you know what? We're not going to try and fight fire with fire because unfortunately, we've got matchsticks and they've got lighters, right? So it might as well go the
Flamethrowers,
other
but
way
yeah.
around. um, they're going to try and cut this another way. They're going to try and play to their strengths, which is utility. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Definitely, but while we're talking about playing with their strengths, we do see Envious doubling down and playing, using their own strength, which is in the form of that double duelist pickup. So they're really going to be maximizing on that, just relying on absolute sheer firepower to actually get them through this game.
Yeah, I mean, you see that Reyna being picked up, you already know what's coming, right? You know exactly what's cooking.
And I think one of them is timed out, the Jet from Envious. So we might be seeing a pause come out.
Oh no, we're
Yeah,
good.
and okay, so the pause did come out, but he
I think it might be
returned as
for the
soon as.
Sova on Dentinals.
Oh yeah, right, right, right.
The problem is, right, Dentinals, they've pretty much done all they need to do. They've picked agents that are more to their more fitting for their playstyle, and they've understood that they can't really fight back with fire. But before they can actually put that kind of plan into action, they're going to have to wait around, and they're going to have to wait for that defender side to actually kick in. Problem is, they can't have a half like the previous map. If you end up heading into the next half like 10-2, something of that sort, you're not going to have a great time. You're not going to have enough of a buffer. You're not going to have enough leg room to actually fight back in the second half. You can't be in a position where you only have the pistol round, you only have the force buy right after it, because then you can't actually put any of your defender side plans into action. So that's something that's on the top of their priority list. Make sure you get to the second half with enough of a buffer.
Definitely, and now we're going to start off with the first round where Dentinel's making an aggressive play on towards that B site. 4 players primed in position right next to the Viper wall. Going to wait for it to go up. Oh, but already Darky getting that first kill onto Nomi, and with that the attack does seem to have come to a stop. Now the Sage is pushing in, does have the spike, and ABD, he gets the kill on the opposite side of the map, actually taking out 2 players. Very well done by him, and with that they're going to be rotating on towards that A side. They know that no one is there. They just managed to spot out 3 players from NGES, and now the rotation is going to come in, but Dentinel should be able to get there quicker. Oh no, they're actually changing it up.
Oh, Beast doesn't realize what he's about to walk into, but he surprisingly still gets away with 2, and he's still able to fight back for more. Granted, it doesn't end up turning out into a kill, but that is a whole lot of damage being delivered by Beast.
Yeah.
That is just an entire avenue being opened up.
That should not have happened. That really should not have happened.
Now,
Dentinel's there. I'm not sure what their plan is in this first round, because the Sage, no heal available for that Killjoy. Oh no, actually now he's going to be healing him up. So now it's about as even as it gets, right? Spike needs to be planted. They do take out Darky, and now a 1v2. The Sova not really having much health himself, 57 HP. And he needs to pull off a miracle, as he is going to be faced up against the turret as well. And this looks
that turret just
it should be
makes
very
things
comfortable
so much harder, yeah. Gets tagged up by the turret, and there's utility available as well, and despite Beast's best efforts, it still ends up turning out to be a bloodbath. Gamer, 3 kills for him, and honestly, man, I wish he chose a better name than Gamer. Like, if I'm going to highlight a player, I don't... Like, first of all, I'm not going to go through the trouble of calling him XGamerX. Like, no thank you. But... Like, who is Gamer? Like, we've got to be more specific, you know? Like, we've got 10 gamers on the server, essentially.
I'd like to quickly point out, the camera keeps on bringing the mid position over there. If you guys remember back at GXR, Frebik pulled off a really nice knife play in that game. I think it was the semifinals where he did that. But bringing us back into this game, however, again, a very aggressive play on towards the B side. Rotations are coming in. The Jet having made himself available towards that B side. The plant is going to go. The plant is going to come out courtesy of that Viper wall, giving them some nice coversion. And now, the Sova though, he's perfectly positioned himself for a flank. Oh, that was a nice headshot.
By Trick, yeah. Problem is, they don't really have anything to work off the back of, with the exception of pistols, so they're just trying to do as much damage on their way out, and Gamer is going to nip it in the bud. So, honestly, a much better performance from him in this map already, as opposed to the previous one. Now, granted, a lot of that is just eco kills right now, but that is better than not having any kills at all. And suddenly, we're seeing Dentinels with just as many rounds as they did in the entirety of the previous game.
Yeah, but it's the way that they're playing it. I certainly like this improvement. They're peeking out together, which is absolutely key when you're faced against superior firepower. Gamer, he has enough points for that ultimate. So essentially, this round it's going to be a 6v5. So gun round, 6v5. It should be another one that they're looking to secure.
Okay, Envy's actually doing a fair bit of damage this time around. Darky's able to pick up 2 and a third one on the top of that as well. So, Envious able to fight back immediately after that first 2-round deficit. Doesn't really seem like they gave them many problems whatsoever. Still, 2 opening frags for Gamer, which is very commendable considering he's playing the Sage. He's playing the Pocket Sage, he's playing the Battle Sage, like he's trying to get everything done all by himself.
But, the problem is, that's not how you win a game, right? If one player is doing all of the work, then there's going to come to a point where their rounds start suffering because they're going to start targeting him. They're going to start targeting the player that's, getting the most amount of frags, being more careful and wary of him. And already, Denton is having lost 1. And now the revive comes out, so they've played their chips. Oh, actually, they're actually going in for the kills over here. Darky gets taken down as well, and the 4v2 situation has erupted. Spike still needs to go out, and meanwhile, they're actually going to rotate away. And Trick is going to spot this out. He knows what's happening. The Sova is going to rotate as well, but Dentinals, they found their spot towards the A side. The Killjoy utility has been placed down as well. So Envious, it does not seem like they should be winning this round. Everything is in place.
I mean, about as good as an attack as they could have possibly conjured up. But Stranger certainly wants to turn up the heat, not willing to go down without a fight. 1-on-3 now. Nearly had the duel there, but Gamer is...
Yeah.
He's just consistently piling on the pressure, honestly. Dentinals, again, that round potentially gets a little bit sloppy. It comes down to the 2-on-3, but then they're able to nip it in the bud, get much better positions, and then play the crossfires to near perfection. And Icebox is going a whole lot better already than I expected.
Definitely, and I think it can be attributed to some of the weaknesses that are in the Envious agent roster. 2 duelists does not really help you out a lot in the defending side, but Dentinals securing as many of these rounds in the first half on the attacking side as possible, certainly the way to go about it. And already Gamer getting at that opening frag, Nomi getting those 2 kills as well, and now Envious, they really are struggling. The plant comes out as well. Stranger going to move in towards the side with that Bulldog, but he gets spotted out, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to do much any damage at all towards Dentinals.
Again, just a nearly perfectly played attack side. A little sloppy, honestly, when you consider they're just peeking into Darky 1 by 1, and those are some of the mistakes that ended up being problematic for them in the previous map. But they are able to make sure that they're going to be able to put a lid on it. Nomi gets away with 4, and that's where the Jet finally starts to shine. And honestly, you and I were thinking they'd have to wait for the defender side before we would see decent results from them. But this is already fantastic. They have twice the rounds that they did in the entirety of the previous map.
Yeah.
And they've been able to nip the issue in the bud as far as Envy's accumulating rounds is concerned. Darky had a couple of highlight moments, but that's only converted into 1 round.
Definitely, and I like the fact that Nomi is also stepping up. More and more players from these from Dentinals pushing their own weight. That's really how you want to be playing this. Just can't allow Gamer to be getting all of these skills. But as I say that, he's been their go-to opening fragger, and it's been working out for them. Again, managing to find that opening kill. As Envious, they're in a bit of trouble again. Now, they do have a lot of ultimates available. The Viper ultimate, the Sova Hunter's Fury. It all depends on how they choose to play it. Now, Bloody, he has positioned himself. He does see ABD having dealt quite a bit of damage, but he's going to be taken out by Pandora. And now Trick comes in, not finding anything with that knife. Just 1 available before his ultimate wears out.
I like how he's playing this, actually. He's willing to aggress a little bit more to try and get info, but I think he should have committed to the bit a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now, refocusing their efforts over towards B. Are about to run into the Sova, and Nomi's going to make quick work of him. And honestly, not a lot of complaints there from me at all for Dentinals. Already an amazing game for them so far. This should be a 5-round guarantee. And Trick with his final knife shouldn't be able to do anything either. Has been passed over a Sheriff by Darky to allow him a little bit more room to breathe.
Okay. That was
Interesting. Caught in between the B-hop.
Trick finding that kill with that Sheriff, but definitely not going to be able to win this round. And down to 30 HP, it doesn't seem like he's going to be... Okay, never mind. I was wrong. He does get a kill, but hopefully he doesn't get any more. As Dentinus, they're going to be rotating away from that side, allowing the spike to go off.
No charges left.
And Trick, he's probably going to allow the spike to kill him as well for those additional credits the next round. 1 in 5 now, and definitely Dentinus, they're in a much better position than they were the previous game. NGES, perhaps it's time to start thinking about deploying that Viper Spit early on into the game. Perhaps at that B side or that A side, depending on how you want to be playing it. And I do think that it's going to be the B side that he's going to be deploying it, but I think the time is now, right? Because they do need to start gaining some momentum back in their favor. Gamer now, he's 12 and 3, playing a completely different game than the previous map. And here we see the Viper's ultimate being pushed out, like as I predicted. As Team Dentinals, they're going to have to choose to go somewhere else.
And it's crazy to see that NGES are actually being a little cornered right now, to the point where they have to feel like they're desperate enough to use their utility very early on. Ooh, Darky. The fact that he gets taken away here also means that the pit is no longer going to be active. Nomi, great opening frag from him, and that pretty much has the B site open for up for grabs. I mean, we previously
Nomi getting
thought they'd have
distracted
to...
by the superior Vandal skin, and like I said, he does go for it.
Yeah, the idea that they'd have to turn back simply because there's a Viper Spit, Nomi just says no to that. Just denies it entirely. Easy peasy plant coming through as well, and NGES now, they're scratching their heads. They're like, do we want to go for a save? Do we want to try and make these weapons useful in the next round as well? Probably not. They're starting to commit to it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to work out for them. They should look to be saving, but Trick does find that kill. Oh, he's given out a lot of information actually, as Bloody will be able to take out one more, but that information is not going to be able to do much as they all get taken down. The Reyna, the only one alive, stuck in that frost field, and he's going to be taken down as well. ABD using that ice wall to their advantage. As Sentinels 1 and 6 now, and NGES, they're getting a bit sloppy, particularly Darky, who, you deploy the Viper Pit, but I'm not sure if he is underestimating his opponents, because they are in the grand finals, right? You deploy the Viper Pit, perhaps you should just lay back rather than choose to, play more aggressive. Last round, or the round before the last one, he was caught with his knife out and he got taken down. So perhaps it's time, for the entire team, not just him, of course, to step up a little bit, because this game is getting a bit out of hand for them. 6 and 1, not something that you would expect from a team of this caliber.
Honestly, Dentinals are just looking as dominant as NGES did in the previous map. In fact, they're even looking more dominant than that. Again, Pandora with the sick opener. A chance to get the bomb down as well. The bomb. Can't expect me to cast Sia's Go one day and then immediately be ready to say spike on the next day.
Yeah, definitely. I think I remember... with both of our experiences in CSGO, we kept saying bomb the first tournament we actually casted.
Valorant, yeah.
30 seconds left.
Now, again, a 5v3. Envy is really not able to find anything. Stranger will get taken down as well. And the roles have very much been reversed this time around, as Dentinals, they seem to be playing how Envious were playing the previous map. you know, the difference in firepower is very similar, except it's the opposite way. And really, I don't see how. I'm not really sure what Envious is doing wrong. They're just getting out fragged time and time again. You know, either by Gamer or either by Nomi. But now they've purchased themselves an operator, and you know, I think this is going to come in handy. But I would suggest placing it on the B side because that's really where Dentinals choose to go in every single time. Perhaps it's their forte, but with that operator, you can perhaps get that opening frag that Dentinals are seemingly better at this map, and choose to go from there. What a tactical timeout, and you know that's really telling. You know, and I think Dentinals should at least pat themselves on the back as they forced out a tactical timeout from Team Envious. Forced them to rethink some of their strategies that they're using in this game. Now going to be resuming into this time around, though. Dentinals going for that A side.
Spike dropped.
Gamer, he's going to be going in for that opening frag. He's been the go-to person, and he should be able to find it. There are two players there. The rotation has come in from the Jet, from Trick, and he does have that operator, so Dentinals need to be really careful about this one. Information given out for him as well, so that operator should come in handy for this. As Bravo, he needs to be careful, as Trick has him lined up with that operator. Oh, the Hunter's Fury being deployed as well from Dentinals. Perhaps to get a bit of information, but as I say that, Pandora, he does get the kill onto Bloody as well, and now Bravo deploying that Viper Spit. He is taking a bit of damage from Stranger, but he's going to be fine. The Viper Spit deployed is going to force Envious out of the site. Trick really low on HP.
Oh, but they're actually reading this pretty well. They're quickly realizing that the Viper Spit is just a facade, and instead there's going to be a B-side commitment, which is why they already have two players at the ready. 3 players now on the rotation.
Right here.
And they are starting to get ready. The ultimate from the Killjoy certainly makes things easier, especially as they're able to get past the Viper wall, and now the attackers are going to start to be a little bit more cornered. Beast on the defuse, at least he's got him defused halfway. He is pushed off the bomb, but the problem is the smoke fading will allow them to quickly interrupt. Quick tap from Stranger, but nothing has been going the way of Envious.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what was up with that defuse. I mean, they really
that
was trying to go for it.
That was just desperation. That's it. Like, sometimes your mind starts imploding after nothing ends up working out, and you just go for whatever you can. And sometimes that is just holding the 4 key.
And now Gamer, it's really just these two players, right? Gamer and Nomi. They're really just doing everything for their team. And Envious really should be thinking about slowing down the pace a bit. Their teamwork is also lacking. I was talking about how Dentinals need to up their teamwork, up their strategy, and up their utility usage. And it seems like in the short span of the 5-minute break that we took, they've somehow managed to do all 3.
It's crazy how one-sided this game is. You would not expect this at all. Like, after that first showing, I was like, yeah, we're probably seeing a 2-0. This is going to be very similar to the CSGO games we casted yesterday, and there's not a damn thing Dentinals can do about it, but apparently there is a lot more in store than we expected. Should be the A-side commitment this time around. They've deployed the Viper's wall as well over towards B, which is going to make sure the rotations can't instantly come through when Bloody ends up wasting the ultimate on the Reyna. And you can tell that Envious are getting desperate. They're popping ultimates very early on, and they're still allowing Dentinos to get onto a site. The Sage Wall makes sure that it's going to be an easy-peasy spike plant. Trick trying to find something, a semblance of a kill over towards A, but before they can even be part of a conversation, they're shut down.
Here.
And now Trick seems to have boxed himself into a corner. That Sage Wall is nicely planted to keep him out of there. Only one way to enter, as Gamer will be taking him out. Now very low on HP. He's going to fall back. But Darky, he's found himself a weapon, but with only 5 HP, I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to do anything. Just needs one bullet to die, and it looks like Gamer will be taking care of him as well. You know, things are tough when you're able to cast things into the future before they actually happen.
Placing sentry.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a map 3. And I don't think any of the viewers
it's
would
quite
be either.
rare to see a map 3 in the Valorant scene, at least.
Yeah, for some reason it's always been a big discrepancy between number 1 and number 2, right? It's honestly still a series that I would give to Envious, just based off of the discrepancy I expect from the player skills, at least as individuals. But as a team, I mean, Dentinos have been doing an incredible job, and it's almost unfair to say that they've been doing a great job as a team because their individuals have also been stepping up, right? That Battle Sage is doing all the damn work. Darky being spotted by that dart certainly makes things easier heading into the B site. Gamer doing what he does best. That Battle Sage continues to do everything. I love that from Gamer, you know? He gets that opening kill, gets a wall up for himself, plants the bomb as well. I mean, what else is he going to do? Like, is he also going to tuck you in bed after that?
I do not want someone whose nickname is Gamer to tuck me in bed. I just don't.
Great choice
It's
in
not.
partners. Great choice.
Yeah.
Last player standing.
It looks like a very comfortable second round. Sorry, not second round.
Don't worry,
semi-last
it's,
round win
the
for
game
them.
has lasted about 2 rounds in terms of length.
Yeah.
19 and
Envious,
4 right now, man. I have not seen a Sage like this before.
Are we sure the banners aren't switched up and the scoreboard? Like, are we sure that it's actually Dentinals playing as Dentinals and it's not Envious?
Yes, we're sure. This is just crazy, honestly. I mean, Darky has been trying to put up as much of a fight as possible, right? He's the only one going positive in his team right now. That's really all we've been seeing from them.
Placing swamp grenade.
The morale definitely can't be great in the camp of Envious right now. And once you win that second map, map 3 certainly feels a whole lot easier. Nomi deploying a lot of smokes just to make that information harder to access for the defenders. Darky at least being able to make a dent early on this time around. Beast getting the spike planter off of the bomb through the wall. So Envious are finally starting to fight back, and this might be a little too late, to be perfectly honest, because the half is pretty much taken care of at this point.
And ironically, the score line is the exact same as last time, except it's just the opposite teams having the stat score line. I mean, 10 and 2. But now Envious, the silver lining, or as we were talking about the last game, there is no silver lining, but there's some sort of lining. There's like icing on the cake. There's replace the actual cake, But they're on the attacking side. They have 2 duelists available, the Reyna and the Jet. Darky seems to be doing decently. 1 KDA, 11 and 11 for him. So they do have whatever they need going into the second half. Now, the requirement is that they need to win the pistol round. And the pistol round often, it doesn't matter which side you're playing in. The pistol round often just comes down to those frags. Another technical timeout, this time around by Dentinals, I believe. NGES, if they're able to win the next 3 rounds, say the pistol round, the bonus round, and the round after that, then perhaps I am comfortable in saying that they're coming back into this game. But you whiff the first round in the second half, and you are absolutely going to the decider map.
Not sure why we were seeing a technical timeout, actually. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past them right now to take a tactical timeout. Just make sure they have their emotions in order before they head into it. I mean, 2 rounds is definitely not a huge buffer to work off the back of. Now, problem is, right, part of the setup I saw from Dentinals, like, the idea going into this game was that, okay, they have a super defensive setup, they're not playing for firepower and all that, which will arguably make them a much better defensive team. So, we were talking about delaying it long enough to get to the defender side and then activate, right? But they've already done most of the work on the attacker side. It's just about tipping it over the finish line and getting the job done. So, Dentinals, they're in a prime position. Fumbling the bag at this point would be a massive surprise for me.
It would be surprising, but NVS, they do have the players to make it work. They do have the players to make a comeback. But we're going to see whether or not that's going to be possible. It all depends on who gets the opening frag, or rather, who wins the first round. Both teams rather, waiting for the other one to make a move. The recon dart does go out, not finding any information, and just were quick on their feet there.
Envy's getting ready for a rotation over towards B, just having that early attention on A just to make sure that those rotations aren't going to be too quick from the side of Dentinals. Early dart being deployed now as well. They don't really have too much cover as far as getting the spike down is concerned, so they're going to have to do things the old-fashioned way, just use the Viper wall and a little bit of elbow grease along with weapons to keep them off of it. But actually getting the spike down is a little bit tricky right now. ABD becomes a thorn in their side. Trick is able to respond. And Nomi's being a menace as well, but Trick is able to nip that threat in the bud, courtesy of his Sheriff. Bloody getting a lot of work done as well. It comes down to the 3-on-1. And Envious might just be starting their, well, chance at a comeback.
Yeah, definitely a good start at that comeback. They won that round in a very decisive way, and looks like they're going to go for that buy. Just,
but did you see that problem there on the plant? They don't really have any utility that can comfortably get them the plant, and that's why the Sage and Viper combo is just so potent.
Yeah.
You get into the site with the Viper wall, and then you secure the bomb plant with the Sage wall, right? It's just such a nice 1-2 punch that pretty much guarantees the spike plant over towards B site. Now, that simply hasn't come through. Instead, they have to do things the old-fashioned way, which unfortunately could potentially cost them some of these rounds. And one mistake could be all it takes for Dentinals to tip it over the edge. Drone being deployed to try and get early information as they start to move into the site. Nomi plays at X-Gamer, though. They're making things very difficult. They're not letting up without a fight. But Envious, they've made their way onto A site. The Sheriff's starting to pop off a little bit with ABD making a dent as well. Bloody getting up close and personal now because he quickly realizes that he needs to at least even out the numbers before that plant comes through. Stranger, hard commitment on the spike plant, and this is where they need to start moving in. Stranger and Bloody making quick work of 2, and it just comes down to ABD, who has been previously successful with that Sheriff. Slow peek into it, crucial shots being missed,
no.
but a collection has been made, which means there's a chance, especially with Stranger not having full HP.
It's really not where you want to be now.
Oh, this is great.
ABD, he's not looking, so he will be able, he will get taken down, but that was, I would say that's a disaster for NGES right there, because they were playing with guns against the pistols of Dentinals, and it should not have been that close.
Enemy remaining.
Bloody just whiffing those shots over there. And really, if you replicate the last round with Dentinals having guns, then NGES absolutely lose out there.
Envy is getting ready for another ace site hit. They know they don't have the appropriate utility for B site hits consistently, which is why they've been opting over towards A instead. But this isn't something they've been incredible at getting the job done on. 2 players being taken down from both sides, Bloody and Stranger, though they're actually able to have a bit of a mini comeback within the round.
One enemy remaining.
Bloody really getting all of that work done all by himself. And as the Viper pushes through the smoke, his bullets aren't going to support him in that instance, but at least Stranger is able to put a lid on that situation. So very back and forth rounds, and that wasn't the case when Dentinals were playing on the attack side, which is what has me worried.
And again, Dentinals forced out on those Sheriffs. Now, this is where the comeback is starting to become a bit more real, right? Because realistically, NGES should be winning this round. They're faced against 5 Sheriffs. And outside of, an upset, Dentinals should not be winning this. And NGES are actually going to change it up a bit. Actually going to go towards that B side. All of Dentinal's players, they're focused on towards A, but they know what's happening. They're going to choose. They're going to rotate towards that B side, but it'll allow Trick to actually make an aggressive play. He gets one. He gets ABD out.
Beautiful flick onto the head.
Firmly planted himself into the smoke, but Bravo finds that return kill. Darky getting that kill onto Bravo, getting another kill onto Gamer, and those are 3 players down. The Jet from Dentinals having taken a lot of damage. Nomi falls as well.
Buddy.
Yeah, that was a very decisive round.
10-6 now. Yeah, NGES are definitely starting to get back into it, right? 4-round deficit, but the problem is we haven't really seen Dentinals on full power just yet. I mean, they have had 1 gun round, but that's really all that she wrote. Look at how NGES are, in contrast to what we generally expect from Icebox, they're playing such a A-heavy setup. You don't see that very often. Instead, you're going to see that B-side commitment, so they have a very interesting way of circumventing and not having that Sage and Viper combo. Instead, they're just choosing the site with more cover.
Definitely, and I think with the Hunter Suri available, they can use it to their advantage as long as they get that spike plant out. So I think that is their win condition for this round. Just plant that spike by any means necessary and keep that Sova alive. Bit of a stalemate in this round. Again, no team making the move. I think Dentinals have gotten a bit more careful, I would say, as they understand that despite their lead, if they lose out on this round, it's only going to be a 3-round lead that they have, and at that point it's still very much doable for NGES to win. So the stakes are very high for Dentinals, because they're so close to actually closing this one out.
getting ready to push into the site now, and 30 seconds remaining means that they have to be a little bit more sloppy than they expected. Trick is able to at least have 1 kill, but that smoke is not going to hold up for very long. Claire Bravo becoming a menace. Gamer continuing to dish out damage. And suddenly, Dentinals are back to their winning ways.
Yeah.
Not even a very competitive round. It's just a Sova being taken off the roster. Everybody else looking as healthy as ever. Now, a 2-round distance to be covered if they want to make it to the finish line. And NGES, they've got a whole lot more homework to do right now.
Definitely, and they're not even expending their ultimates. I'm not really sure what. Oh, is this intrude? Sorry, I got distracted. Has this intruder alert always been there?
What are you talking about?
Never mind. I really don't know. The spawn position, it says intruder alert on the top. I'm not sure if it's always been there. Yeah.
Listen, man, I think
But-
you're really overestimating how much Valorant I play to remember these details.
Deploying drone.
I just remember, when we had those extremely long pauses back in Infinity Cup. We
Yeah.
would take, a long time to landscape.
That is true. Nice collection at the start, though, from Beast. Nomi has consistently been a thorn in their side, and he's going to continue to do that in this round as well. Oh, that is rough for Beast. Getting shot on the back of the head through the smoke. Bloody, of course, he realizes that he has to try and turn up the heat with the Reyna, and he has a chance to back off courtesy of the invincibility as well. 3 versus 3 now.
Very well played by him.
Yeah, all hands on deck pretty much. They're trying to maximize their chances right here on the side of the defenders. X-Gamer getting Nomi back up on his feet. ABD responding with a kill onto Bloody. And with Darky being detained, yeah, it is done. They're just going to toy around with him. They're going to smack him on the face with their wands. It's just...
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, that is painful.
Match point.
And now match point and Envious, they're going to be playing with pistols, right? So it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to do anything, really.
Do they have enough money for a complete buy? I don't think so. They had a pretty heavy investment in the previous round with about $1,000 left over. So after the loss bonus, they shouldn't. I don't think they have full utility yet. Yeah, they have to.
Get out of my way.
They have to sacrifice some of their armor. Can only get light armor in that instance.
The drone deployed very early on, so it's going to run out very quickly. As the attacker killjoy is deployed, so that'll at least allow them the time to actually plant the spike, but they're not actually going for it either. And now the attacker killjoy is going to run out. No one actually stunned, save for the Viper.
Spike
As
down.
Nomi finds the first kill, and it looks like it's going to be it for NBS. 2 players already fallen, ultimates expended, Trick dying as well.
Remaining.
Yeah, just Reyna remaining now. Bloody, he's done incredible work, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to tip it over the edge in a 1-on-4. Incredible work being done by Dentinals. Honestly, not something we expected, Talha. It was a 13-2 in the first map. That is about as convincing of a victory as it can possibly be, right? But now, they've got a chance. Map number 2, Icebox. I really wasn't holding out too much hope. I was really expecting Icebox. Like, I didn't think they were going to perform as well as they did until they got to that defender side. X-Gamer, he didn't really have an incredible performance in the second half, but that's because he didn't need to. He had already gotten the job done by the time half number 1 was over, and that was pretty much GG called, right? So, great map. And I'm just glad we're seeing a competitive game. Yesterday you and I casted some CS for the same tournament, and that was definitely not as competitive as what we're seeing here right now. Map number 3 is the way to go very, very soon. Any closing thoughts on this one, Talha?
I mean, I'm not really sure they managed to pull themselves back up from game number one, because it really seemed like a different team altogether on map number two. But that's sort of the momentum that they need to keep up. And now going to move into what I would say is a very rare moment in Valorant history as far as the Pakistan esports scene goes, and that is the decider map. So we're really going to see how that one goes, because I can't predict anything, because both these two maps, they have been so different.
Yeah, definitely a very competitive fair in both these maps. In fact, it's actually felt like two uncompetitive affairs. It's felt like just two
Yeah.
one-sided games, right? Like if I watched both of those games in isolation, I would have said, yeah, this is like I could not tell you which team is better, right? But here we are. Map 3 is about to go underway very soon, but we are going to be out with a short break for maybe 5 to 10 minutes before we head into the next one. So stay tuned. Keep a tab open. Maybe grab some food while you're at it. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I'd love to say that we saw a competitive match, but we actually saw two very uncompetitive maps instead. 13 to 2 one way, 13 to 6 the other way around. And now on a decider map, I actually have no clue who's going to win this one out. Honestly, both teams looked very shaky on both the maps that they've lost. I mean, there's no way in hell I would say that the team that got 13-2 is the same one that played on map number 2. Like, they just look like
Yeah.
completely different beasts. And now I really don't have an idea of what's going to happen in the next one.
Definitely. I mean, it's just so hard to predict. I would actually, I think that as far as the ability to pick yourselves up goes, that's an advantage that comes with experience. And if we talk about experience, then I'm sure, the Darky, Trick, Stranger, all of these guys have perhaps I think the most amount of experience in the Valorant scene in Pakistan. So the ability to pick yourself up, that's certainly there for them. So I would I mean, of course, it's still 50-50, but really, we're really going to have to see how these teams played out. Again, I think that what we were talking about, resorting to the default agent picks, that's really something that they're going to have to choose towards, because they tried the double duelist in perhaps what was an overconfident play. Of course, I say overconfidence in hindsight, but at that time perhaps they were expecting themselves to have an easy win, but as we found out, that's really not the case. So both of these teams, I think they should be going for default agent picks. I think both of these teams really do need to be at their toes.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is going to be a much more serious game, if anything. There was definitely a hint of sort of taking it a little too chill on the second map from the side of Envious. Not like it was like that in gameplay, but as soon as those agents picks started to come in, it kind of seemed like a bit of a gamble strategy. It seemed very aggressive, and it's very unorthodox to see teams consistently hit that A site simply because they haven't planned in advance with their agent selection, right? So it got a little too predictable there at the very end as well. There were fewer commitments towards the B site from the side of Dentonels, and just the foresight to be able to predict where Envious was going to end up. They just had those fast rotations. They had great utility. Pretty much everything in the book was played out by the book by Dentonels. So here we are, map number 3. I want to see how they're going to play this one out. ABD actually opting for a Cypher. Now, you don't really see that too often, with the exception of this particular map. I think Cypher is sort of one of those agents that's kind of a specialty pick these days, where people that are specifically very good at his lineup, specifically very good at his cam with his cam setups and everything, they're going to sort of opt for Cypher, and it's that situational style of play, it's a bit of a gamble sometimes, right? It doesn't really always pay off. So it's nice to see somebody still repping that Cypher when oftentimes in hectic matchups, people are just going to pick the characters that are easier to play. Talha, this is where I'm going to sort of dig into the only few pieces of knowledge I know about Dota, right? And even that might be wrong. But, in a hectic matchup, sometimes somebody might opt to pick a hero that is just less complicated to play because there's going to be nerves at play, right? You might not see somebody pick a Meepo in a final match because they're worried, like, okay, am I going to be able to get all those inputs right? Am I going to be able to hit all those invoker combos? So you might not pick that in sort of a high pressure situation, right? But that's sort of the lens I see Cypher with. You don't see him until you're sort of seeing him as a specialty pickup, and you better damn hope that you're going to get your inputs and your lineups right when you're playing a character like that.
Yeah, and Dentoners, they've chosen to go for the double duelist. Now, it's a mistake that Team Envious made in the previous map. So really, I don't think they're overconfident, right? Because that's really not up on the decider map. Up on game number 3. That's really when you stick to what works for you. And double duelists are always experimental at best, and
Yeah,
I'm not
honestly,
sure how
we've
this
we've
experiment
seen
will work.
We've seen quite a few teams just offer Breach instead as sort of like a semi-duelist in a way, where they would just use his flashes and allow him to move in forward after using his utility very early on. But again, both of these teams have picked up 2 duelists, and this is a map where it actually works way better than Icebox. You know, Icebox is sort of kind of that map, with the exception of Jet, you can actually work with barely any duelist presence. Like, yes, Jet helps you get onto a site. Jet might help you get onto on top of heaven towards A. Might be able to get you an easier bomb plant, but that's really about it. Heading into the pistol round of map number 3, of course, this is now do or die for both teams.
And it's gonna be, looks like it's gonna be a mid skirmish with both teams getting that 1-to-1. Again, Gamer showing us some of the performance from last game. Oh, the entire team is flashed out as NVS will manage to come out on top thanks to those flashes. Gamer's still alive though. Still being a menace upon this map. Stranger getting that kill onto ABD, and Bravo, he's gonna fall as well. So Dentinels, they seem to have lost out very decisively despite having the advantage there. I mean, 3 players from NVS were flashed at that moment, but they just were not able to capitalize on it.
Here.
And now, second round. Looks like it should be an easy win for NVS. Bloody getting that first opening frag out. Trick getting that other kill. Pandora, he does find something courtesy of that flash, but he gets taken out as well. And 3-on-2 with Trick having that Vandal. The spike dropped onto mid, but I'm not sure if NVS actually spotted it out because they have chosen to let it go. As the spike will be picked up by ABD. But it's going to be interesting to see where they actually move. All 3 portions of the map actually covered out by NVS. So it's going to be a bit of a gamble. The Cypher moving towards that A site, going to be under the scope of the Marshal.
Player standing.
And
Spike down A.
he'll get taken out as well. So very comfortable second round as well by Team NVS. They did not expend a lot of
30
economy
seconds left.
going into it. Gamer will be spotted out as well, and he'll probably get taken out.
Try harder.
Yeah, just an easy cleanup this time around for Envious. A much better showing, all things considered. And I'm starting to wonder, like, are we actually going to see a competitive third map, or is this going to be the case where we end up seeing yet another one-sided map? Because, honestly, one of the most painful things ever would be to see 3 one-sided maps, you know? You never really get to see any juicy action at that point. I'm not going to lie, though. Icebox had some moments. It had some moments where you saw those back-and-forth ordeals happen. Definitely not the case on map number 1, though. That was just a whitewash.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to bring to attention the fact that Dentinels have opted for 2 duelists. So if they don't make the attacking side work out for them, then they're really going to be at a very hefty disadvantage going into the second half. Obviously, first gun round going to come out for both of these teams. We'll see how this plays out for them. They know that Nomi is there, though. As Bravo, he's going to find that opening kill onto Stranger. Should give them the leeway that they need.
Bravo.
As the site is now under their control. Spike plant
Spike
also
planted.
going to come out as envious. They're all boxed into one position. And this is going to be a very difficult retake. And it might not be possible for them. They're going to come out now, but they're going to fall very quickly. As Beast, Trick, and Bloody get taken out in an instant.
We're gonna win. No other option. Let's go.
Okay, so this is a good sign already, you know? Dentinel's able to fight back instantly after Envious's early successes. Should be seeing a gun round as well from both sides now, considering their round wins. Now, Sentinel's getting ready again for that A-site presence. A flashbang being primed by Omen as well. Lots of futility being deployed. Now, they are going for a bit of a split setup with two players charging A early on. Bloody, very cheeky on that rope. But does allow one of these players to creep past, unfortunately. Doesn't end up being a kill coming to fruition for the Rays. Comes down to the 2-on-4 now. The attack doesn't end up being very successful. I think there was a window of opportunity there for the attacking Rays to actually try and get ahead and fight the CT spawn, or the defender spawn. But it didn't exactly end up working out.
Yeah, and Sentinels, well, they're going to go in again towards that B side. Too much. Oh no, that was a disaster. And now 1v3, it doesn't seem like Bravo is going to be able to do it. He does have his ultimate though, can reposition himself, but him using that smoke over there, they know that he's there. He is.
I wasn't sure if they realized that he's there, because the flash went past him and he wouldn't get the Sky wouldn't get the notification of blinding, right? Which would certainly make it much easier to sneak past the smoke. Now, ABD arguably not having a great game to boot, at least. Like, obviously, 3 rounds in, anybody can go 0-3. It literally happens to everyone all the time. But that's still a bit of a contrast as to what we saw in the past couple of games. He definitely had a much better early performance, especially on map number 1, where he was sort of the only fighting force from Sentinels, even if they were losing 13-2, you know?
Oh, definitely. And we're going to see a marketplace push coming out from Sentinels. They do have control of the elevators, but it's going to be interesting to see if this flank actually works out for them. Should the jet go up, Bloody is going to be caught out. But meanwhile, Bravo does get that kill, opening up the site at B. So it looks like they are going to make a push towards it, and it should be easy enough. Only 2 players to defend that position, and they're going to be flanked very quickly. The Seekers come out as well. Nomi gets another kill. Trick does buy them some time, but Bravo just takes him out as well. And with that, Envious down to 2, boxed into a corner, and the spike plant is going to come out as well. It really does not seem like they're going to be successful in this retake. ABD, he's going to actually get taken out as well.
Okay,
3-on-2 now.
A chance here, right? Oh, but no, that kill being collected there on Darky suddenly makes things fall apart. 3-2. Okay, I'm actually quite happy about this. You know, it's not exactly the best route when a team loses a round, but I'm happy that this is a much more back and forth affair.
I would still say that Sentinels, they've had a better strategy so far around, right? They've gone into the site together. They've gone into the site at multiple angles, utilizing their utilities very well and very effectively. So the way that they're playing it, I would say, is still a bit better than Envious. As you know, the few rounds that we've seen, Envious have been a bit lackluster, relying on those niche and cliched plays.
Ooh, okay. Bloody actually gets away with a little more than he bargained for initially, but that ultimate from ABD certainly makes the chance at a clutch much easier. 1-on-2 now, Vandal in hand, and now that he knows Stranger's position, he knows where that jump spot is coming from, and he has a rough idea of where that second player could be as well. So he has a chance to reroute his efforts all the way towards B and use those ropes to rotate, but now he's been spotted. ABD doesn't want to stick around and find out. Instead, is going to give the audio cue for the ropes and turn his attention back to A. Now, the rotation being called in for B site means that ABD suddenly has a chance, but that Sky Flash suddenly gives a little bit too much information. Now he's going to have to double down on B, but in the meantime, Beast is already ready for him. What a masterful turn of events for Envious.
Definitely. It really didn't seem like they were going to win that one because they were playing with sheriffs, but courtesy of Bloody getting those 2 kills, courtesy of Stranger being able to pick up that gun, they were able to come out on top. And now Trick, having purchased himself an operator, here's where things get a bit tricky for Dentinals, because that operator is very difficult to play against upon this map. Very easy to gain that angle advantage with that sniper.
A side
very
execute
aggressive
now
play.
about to come through though from Dentinals. Darky is going to be the lone defender here, and he will be overwhelmed. Nomi plays as the first man to attack, and he will be successful in that endeavor. A 4-on-5 retake. This is going to be tough for Envious. Before it even starts to happen, Nomi is making quick work of them, which leaves just 3 remaining. Ultimate available on the Astra, but I'm not sure if they're going to opt to try and use it. But with Trick and Bloody being able to get a kill apiece, suddenly that retake becomes a whole lot more palatable. Nade deployed as well. Gamer is able to respond. And although the bomb is ticking down, now the chances are still looking much better than previously. Nomi plays. Now, the one-on-one. Ultimate
the rocket
ready
launcher.
from Gamer. Yeah, that
Yeah,
could be the
it doesn't
difference maker.
seem-
Oh,
And he's dead.
Oh, yeah. That was it. That was that
Yeah,
was
that's-
really
that's
all
a
Gamer had to
guaranteed
do.
win. In
Just
a 1v1
hit mouse one.
scenario. Yeah. Four and three now, very even game, I would say, so far. Very back and forth in some of these rounds as well, because both teams making comebacks in the middle of the round. Really not something that you see quite often. Really not something we saw at all in the previous 2 maps, I would say. But again, NGES managing a 1-round lead by a spread.
Party? Ugh.
Very quick cleanup by Dentinos. They were flashed out though. 3 players flashed, but that gun just too much greed. I suppose the sheriff ran out of bullets as well, so he had no real choice. It's interesting to see how Dentinos are still choosing to play this a lot more careful, despite the fact that they have two-man advantage. Make that a no-man advantage. He does take 2 players out, but now it's just the Astra. It's just Beast. He does have a gun. Find one. He does find one. The spike also gets dropped to the ground, but he doesn't know where the Cypher is. Now the Cypher has picked up the spike. ABD will come onto Beast's crosshair, and Beast will be able to take him out as well. Very clean by Beast, bringing them back to the round. I would say Darky also participated very heavily, finding these 2 kills over here, and he did all he needed to do to allow Beast to come in, clean the rest of them up.
Yeah, just an incredible 2v4. It kind of felt like that was a packed up round right there. It was just GG on that one. But they're able to bounce back. Nice 2v4. And of course, this is also a massive interruption here for Dentinals, because they're going to be down to the pistols, and it certainly makes things a whole lot more difficult. Very split style of play here from Dentinals. They're going to have 2 players on mill and B, with the spike all the way back as well, so they can choose to be a little bit more indecisive. Problem is, these pistols, they don't really seem like they're going to be paying the bills anytime soon. Comes down to the 2-on-4, and with not much weaponry being available, this should be an easy cleanup for the side of the Envious roster.
Yeah, it'll be a 6-3 round lead. Suddenly, Dentinals, they're really letting it slip. Do manage to find quite a few kills, 2 players down. If they find 1 more, that would be ideal, but Stranger takes Bando out. And now 6-3. 3 ultimates available. The Killjoy ultimate available. That's really key in this map, because you force the entire team out with that lockdown. If you use it on B, the enemy team has no choice but to abandon that site. So Dentinals, they really don't have much of a choice but to go for that A site. And their play is starting to get just a little bit sloppy.
Honestly, though, this is a pretty defender-sided matchup, so I don't really expect them to fully
Spike down A.
dominate on the attacker side. Really good play here from the defense. Now, the thing
they don't know
is,
Bloody's there.
yeah, they don't know Bloody's position, and he's able to peek out and get away with 2 before he's taken care of, which means that the Raze is going to be left in a 1-on-2.
Now Gamer is going to come on to Beast over here. Will be able to find the kill? No, Beast is just too quick for him. Gamer couldn't even tap that trigger. And now 4 ultimates available for them. For both the teams, rather. But you know, while you were talking about the fact that it is a defender-sided map, I do agree with you. However, the Dentinals, they have 2 duelists, right? So that defender-sided map advantage is, you know, a tad bit mitigated by the fact that you've picked up those additional duelists, and if you're not able to make it work, then you're really going to be at a disadvantage as well when you go into the second half.
Stranger being able to get a whole lot of information over towards middle. Bloody on the rotation as well from ropes, and they are at the ready for a potential ace site hit. The problem is, Bloody is able to nip the initial threat in the bud before it really starts to culminate. Able to get a fair bit of info off the back of the boombot as well. Now the approach from Dentinals is going to slow down significantly. Spike still looking very indecisive. It is going to join them on middle very soon. But with Stranger getting yet another blind, he gets a whole lot of info on mid.
And Dentinals, they're going to be moving in towards the garage. Beast is there. Will he be able to find anything? No, Gamer is too quick for him. Getting that headshot with that Sheriff. Trick's position is also revealed. Now, it's going to be a heavy play on towards that B side, but they're going to abandon it, but it doesn't even matter as Envious, they're all dead. Really surprising considering the gun advantage that they had.
That pacing from the Omen was also amazing. The fact that he waited around for multiple pieces of utility before he actually made himself relevant over towards Heaven.
Oh, Bloody's revealed his position, and unfortunately, they're getting flanked by Bravo. Okay, no, they know he's there. We'll be able to take him out. And they do have the ultimates available. The Killjoy can deploy it. Darky, if he chooses to do it. Surprising to see why he didn't do that, though.
Oh, a bit of a sloppy play there by Darky and Bloody there at the end. Trying to b-hop into the Cypher, and ABD is just able to clean up both. That rocket missing was the key there, right? They should have been able to clean up that round, but a very poorly played 2v1.
I'm not sure why they did not deploy the lockdown when they were up there, you know, on the elevator area. It would have forced Dentinals off of the site completely. So perhaps he wanted to save it for the another round. Perhaps he thought that this round was that the last round was a lost cause, but they could have made it work.
Now the good thing is they do have 3 ultimates available for the final round, but the problem is they also have 2 ultimates to fight back against. It's going to be a very hectic round on the B site as they start to push in. Stranger with 2 quick frags. Player Bravo tries to fight back, but Trick is quick with the judge. Popping out of the smoke once more. Nearly gets Pandora.
He did deal
yeah, a fair bit
quite
of
a bit of damage.
But question is whether or not that amount of damage is enough for Raze to have a chance. Bloody knows where the final player is, but ABD puts him to his demise. 7-5. Decent attack side, honestly.
Definitely. It's very much an even game, you know. We're really going to see how Team NVS do on this second half. I would actually say that Dentinals have had better strategy this game, and NVS have had better fragging power, right? Better firepower, but that difference is very heavily mitigated upon this map. And interestingly enough, NVS went through that round without deploying that lockdown, which they got at the start of it. Trick finding that kill on to Gamer. That's their main fragger. That's their best man down. And with that, Sentinels are at a very heavy disadvantage. They are on the defending side, and NGES, they aren't making a move towards it just yet, waiting for their players to enter the garage. Perhaps they're going to make a very aggressive simultaneous push, which can work out for them because they do have the man advantage, make it a two-man advantage now. The Wolf comes out as well. Oh, casually misses, but they won't need it as Bloody takes out Bravo. Nomi dies as well, and things are collapsing for Sentinels on this first round of the second half. The Cypher, only one alive. ABD will come on to Bloody, will be able to take him out. But Trick, he's there waiting for him. ABD flanked from both positions, both angles, and he'll be falling as well. 8 and 5 now. NGES, their lead is only going to grow bigger as they're going to make a buy. And they're going to be faced against pistols.
Here.
Envious. Now, getting ready for a very heavy attack side over towards the A site. Heaven presence starting to be shown. Oh my goodness, they had 2 players with shorties there.
Yeah.
That is simply not enough distance coverage, all things considered. Bloody heading into the site. And Dent knows they're feeling a little out of their depth right now. The Omen a little too far from the action. Only got the Classic as well. Just a matter of time before he receives a bullet to the cranium.
I think he's going to wait for Team NGES to actually exit out of the site.
I would recommend not waiting, because that makes my brain hurt.
But it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to find anyone, as NGES, they're moving out from a different angle altogether. Oh, but actually, I mean, he has no time to actually make the plan, so, but you know, he's playing Metal Gear Solid when he can, while he can.
See a little box moving.
First gun round going to come out in the second half. And this is where Sentinels have the opportunity to actually turn this game around. They're so close, you know. The lead, it's not that much. 4-round lead, still not on double digits. So depending on how this round goes, Sentinels can very much stay in the game.
Scout destroyed.
Wolf getting taken out as well. A bit of a stalemate here on the marketplace.
Envious now starting to make their presence known over towards middle. You can see that Sky sort of exposed herself
Pandora,
a
that's
little bit.
not...
Yeah, Pandora, a bit of a pixel showed from Pandora, which is all the cue that Bloody needed for it to be done.
And now Sentinels, very heavy disadvantage, I would say, playing S4 without any information, without knowing where NGES is actually making an attempt. But it will be the B side, and now they're going to move in. Very high amount of aggression being shown over here, but Trick doesn't know where Bravo is, but actually manages to spot him out in the last second. Will take him out. Bloody taking out Nomi as well, and the only 2 players remaining. No damage being dealt to them whatsoever. And ABD.
This is a slippery slope as well, right? Because Envious They get that 10th round, the money's not going to be great for Dentinals, and 11th could almost be guaranteed unless Dentinals try to go for a more risky setup with light armor. Now granted, this is the most competitive map we've seen so far. Has never really felt like either of these teams have been comfortable, and with NGES soon having to play against another gun round from Dentinals on the defender side, there's still a good chance that things might just turn around. Problem is, there's simply not enough enough of a margin of error available for Dentinals to try and come back with. ABD. I mean, he has his aim at head height, but just confused by two targets moving into his crosshairs at once.
Trick managing to avoid that bomb. And now Stranger, he's going to deploy his wolf, trying to get some information. Will be able to spot out Bravo, as Bravo trying to move out, but it's not going to be enough. And with only pistols to work with, Dentinals, it looks like it looks a bit done and dusted for them, at least for this round.
And Gamer gets a little desperate there and at least tries to rain some bullets down with the shotgun. Ooh, he has a Vandal here. Never mind. Just overwhelmed. I think they realized that he was going to reach for the Vandal and they wanted to interrupt his efforts, and that's exactly what they did. NGES now 11-5. Looking pretty convincing so far, and Dentinals might only have one more gun round left in them. Two if they're being conservative with their utility, perhaps if they let go of light armor. If we see the scoreboard in a little bit, I'll have a better idea of the economy.
They do have the Cypher ultimate up though, so they only need one kill to gain information. Enough information at least to secure themselves this round. Problem is NGES, they have the Raze rocket launcher available for them, so I was spotted at one.
So NGES, they've just committed all of their resources heading into it. Bloody, I don't think he realizes ABD's around the corner, but he's still able to recover in time, and he gets a little too cocky. Okay, second kill's also collected, so it's not going to be an issue. Trick adding one more to the tally, and Dentinals, they are simply falling apart. Not much of a response whatsoever. Stranger is going to continue to pile the damage down.
They know where Bravo is as well.
Yeah.
And Bravo, he's just going to run for his life. Oh man, he's going to get intercepted. No, never mind. I don't think Sky is going to move any further from his position. Oh, rather, actually, he is going to come onto them, but Stranger, he's going to get taken out, but will Bravo be able to survive before... Okay, he teleports away.
Match point.
And now, NGES on match point. Dentinals, no more room for any mistakes whatsoever. They do have the guns available, but what seemed to be a competitive match has really not turned out to be so.
Final chance now for Dentinals to try and go for the comeback, or that 30,000 rupee prize pool might be going the way of NGES. Again, pretty standard stuff as far as the attack side offense is concerned. Jet's the first one to go in. Trick starting to clear out the bomb site. But Gamer and Nomi are actually going to be responding this time around. Stranger and Trick, two very important kills. The rockets start flying out from heaven as well. The spike could be going down very soon, but this time Gamer's going to be keeping a tight leash on the side of the attackers. A nade lined up to try and circumvent this bomb plant. Stranger not quite committing to this just yet. They're waiting for some semblance of an opportunity before they actually start to commit. Okay, the information starting to come in now. Trick in a 1-on-2. He's got the knives out. He's jumping up. He's trying to avoid the bullets. He's got a very decent shot at the 1-on-2, but he just cannot close it out. Dentinals able to live another day.
Help a girl out, would you?
Definitely, but the problem I'm seeing is they need to win 6 rounds in a row without making any sort of mistake whatsoever. And they really don't have the economy for it. I mean, 2 players, one with the Sheriff, one with a Classic. They do have full armor though, but compared to the economy of Envious, who can, who have the luxury of losing out this round as well and still being able to go for a full buy in the next one.
Bloody.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah, that is a little painful. Gamer's definitely done an incredible job at holding down the wire. Envious now in a bit of an awkward spot. Stranger, with how far he's pushed up, it is very possible that they bring it down to a 3-on-2, but player Bravo, he's going to say no. Puts his foot down and brings that round deficit to just 5.
Yeah, my concern is that it might be a bit too late. I mean, if Envious were on 11 rounds and this sort of comeback was mounting from Dentinals, I would say that they had a very decent shot. But 5 rounds in a row, very, very difficult. All it would take was one misstep, one slip up by Gamer or ABD. Oh, the grenade whiffed as well.
I like how this time around they're not just trying to brute force the issue over towards A. They've done that in Heaven quite a few times, and granted, they've had success in actually getting to the bomb site. Holding it down, though, that's not something that has worked out. Really good attempt at the defense over towards middle. Gamer and Omi are able to get a kill apiece, but it does come down to the 3v3 anyway. Now, it's going to be a bit of a gamble whichever way the defenders go. The spike slowly making its way to B. And there is going to be a push from player Bravo as well, which is being watched out for by Beast. So, that timing there. Beast, had he waited around for maybe a second longer, things could have been very, very different.
Oh, ABD takes out Darky. And that might just be it for this round. Oh no, never mind. They're going to take out ABD and the site's completely open for them. They need to go for this plant very quickly though, as... they're going to go for that retake. Dentinals, 2 players. Now 1 player is flanking though, so as far as the retake goes, they're in very good position for this.
Now, final chance at keeping their tournament life on the line. Starting to move in for the 2v2 now. Flash by player Bravo. Does give away his position as well. And the repositioning comes out from Envious as well. They're playing very close to each other, so the refrag potential is there. Player Bravo sneaking out of the smoke. Now, they're not sure where that final player is, so they're going to have to be extra careful. Trick getting ready to peek out from Heaven. He knows that player Bravo is trying to stick it. He doesn't quite need to commit just yet. Moving in with the shorty, and he's able to get the final kill as well. Envious are your NGES Ramazan Esports Fest 2023 champions.
That was what a way to end the series. I mean, jumping in with that shorty, getting that last kill, really memorable, I would say. And now we're going to take a look at the scoreboard, and as we can see, as predicted, Gamer, top fragger for his team. He did an excellent job last game around as well. Kudos to the rest of his team who all picked themselves up quite a bit, but it just was not enough against the likes of Bloody Trick and Stranger.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna lie, performance from X-Gamer was fantastic, right? We saw him on the Sage as well. He was getting everything done by himself in the second map, and part of the reason they're even able to make it to map number 3 is because Gamer is having that fantastic performance. Honestly, just incredible work being done, even by the losing squad. And yes, first and third map didn't look super competitive, but that third map definitely had a few treats in there. And heading into this matchup, we really didn't think we would make it to a map number 3, and our beliefs were solidified at that point where we saw that 13-2 first map come out, but great little resurgence at the comeback there, but unfortunately, that is going to be the end of the road for them, about as far as you can get without being the champions. But congratulations to NGES for being, once again, the champions of the NGES Ramazan Esports Fest 2023. Any closing thoughts?
Definitely. Well, I mean, I always have the exact same closing thoughts. I don't know if anyone has noticed, and that is, they came so close, and that's really what is key. You come really close, you learn from your mistakes, you be consistent with your teamwork, your practice, and maybe next time around, you will end up winning it. So.
Honestly, I feel like
that's the advice I would have for them.
Yeah, I feel like they had the teamwork on point in a few of these situations. Firepower maybe a little bit lacking, and I'm sure that's something they can. I'm sure that's something they can work on. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all to everyone that was actually tuning in for yesterday's tournament as well. I know we did that from the studio, so that was a little bit different. But yeah, we're really happy that everybody's tuning in to the NGES stream. We're really happy to be able to bring you this kind of broadcast in Ramazan as well. I know there's a lot of hype around gaming around this time, so it's wonderful to be able to do something like this. And the reason we're able to do something like this is thanks to all of our lovely sponsors. We've got the likes of Spotcomm, we've got DN Sports, GameBird, GamePoint, and of course, KraveMart as well for all your grocery needs. So thank you all for tuning in once again, and hopefully we'll catch you next time in yet another NGES broadcast. Goodbye.